right. What is up, everyone? Today we're talking about Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all that stuff. I put up my beautiful, beautiful graphic design. Black Friday is today. Consumerism is inevitable. Be informed or buy crap. Now, I don't want to push consumerism. I don't want to push you to go out and buy and spend your money. But guess what? It's your money. And a lot of you, it's inevitable that you're going to buy something because guess what? Some of these deals are outrageous. And you want to know if what you're buying is crap or not. You know, you want to, is it crappy or is it fanappy, right? So that's what I'm here to do today. And so everyone in that comment section, we're going to talk about what you're seeing. Now, before we continue, I do want to say, make sure you check out espressocoffeeshop.com. Now, again, I don't know the people there. I have no connection with them. I have read many reviews that they have great service, but they have some stupid deals, and I ordered 4 things from them today, actually. I ordered, like, what did I order? I ordered a Rancilio Silva because it was like 410 euros. I ordered a fellow Aiden because it was like 205 euros or something. I ordered, I can't remember. I spent a lot of money this Black Friday. I'm not going to lie. I hate that I participated, but I buy so much stuff for this channel, I might as well get the freaking sales when I can on things that people are wanting. So, that was why I kind of pushed the affiliate links a bit on Amazon, even though, like, there are things I was going to recommend anyway. It's like, might as well take Amazon's profit. It's because I'm about to turn around and give it right back to those AWODs. Anyway, all right. So, audio is good. Hi from Luxembourg. What is up, Yannick? I'm just brewing up some decaf. I have some really old decaf, but it's late and I need decaf, so we're going to do it. All right, so I have the list pulled up right now from my video. That this was the video that kind of that I released the other day, but I figured I'd pull this up so we can add to it for people watching. So I saw, let's see, if you have good examples or good sales, put them in the chat, and I'm going to add it to this box so that people can go look. One thing I want to point out is the Lilith Bianca, and the Mara X at espressocoffeeshop.com. They are friggin' cheap, even for those in the U.S. You may have to pay some import tax, but they are currently, I think it's like $1,600 for the Bianca euros, and then it's like 800 euros for the Mara. And because you're not European, if you're ordering from the U.S., you're not paying that. And then you just pay the shipping, which could be probably 100, 150 bucks. But that is like 900 bucks cheaper than buying one in the States. Are you listening to me there? That's friggin' wild. All right? Like, already the Bianca was a great banger for its price, but at that price, that's stupid. That is stupid. Oh, so Gabrielle says he bought his Rocket Espresso there last year. That's awesome. Help me overcome my shiny kit syndrome. Want to learn that I don't have to spend thousands for great espresso. You do not. In fact, I'm super excited about this. So, guys, really excited about this. I used Black Friday, and I went ahead and bought. I haven't used one of these in a while, but I went ahead and bought the base level DeLonghi that has a stainless steel boiler for 83 euros. I think it's like $90 US. Something like that. That was it, the EC3420, I believe. I bought one, and I'm going to put the Gajuino modification on it for funsies. And I bought a bottomless portafilter for it. I bought some other stuff I'm going to mess around with on it to really turn it into a little tank for funsies, for the memes, I guess, as Brian Kwan would say. But yeah, so that's going to be really fun. You don't need to spend lots of money. In fact, the most important thing is a grinder, and nowadays you could buy the K0 or the K2 grinder, and you can have fantastic espresso for like 50, 60 bucks. So we're in good times with espresso. Take a 15-bar little cheapo espresso machine, just use decent water in it, and honestly, you'll get good espresso. Don't freak out about it pulling at 15. It likely won't. It's probably going to be 10 or 11 bar. So anyway, Espresso Outlet has great scales. Espresso and pour over, $29.99 and $19.99. They also have the next level dripper on sale. Very good. So we'll put Espresso Outlet, scales, and next level. So Espresso Outlet, they have the scales are pretty cheap feeling. I'll be honest. In fact, I would prefer the Waitman scale I put on my Amazon list to their espresso scale, just personally. But they're not bad. Let's just say that. They're not bad. At that price, it's hard to be objectively bad. But I do think that the Waitman is more worth the price, personally. I went ahead and bought another Waitman because they were $11 on Amazon. So, all right, let's see. I saw the Timor 064S from AliExpress at around €380. I was thinking upgrading my Specialita. I would not necessarily think you need to upgrade the Specialita. Honestly, the Specialita is a great grinder. Like, there's no real need to upgrade it. Honestly, yeah. If anything, you could get a hand grinder for a lot cheaper, and that will serve multiple purposes for travel and stuff, and that can be kind of the light roast thing. But you're not going to improve your dark roasts or medium roasts going from a Specialita to a Timor 064S. That's only if you're like only doing light roasts on espresso. Otherwise, the Specialita is a good grinder. Yes, retention can be a bear. Yes, the dial can be a bear, but it is a really well bit grinder and makes some really creamy spros. I say this and just bought a Moser Phylos. That's hilarious. I'm finishing up the review soon. Hey from Denmark, hello. I should stand with my Eureka and maybe make a bigger jump in the next year or two. Yeah, at least. We need the Gajuino guys to come up with a single encoder-driven setup so you can just use the dial to flow control manually. Yeah, there's other people coming up with their own kind of versions of that. So there's a lot of things in store I'm excited to see come out over the next year or two. Got my Buku in today. Obviously not a deal, but I'm excited nonetheless. It is still a deal. When you look at things at that price point, the Buku is by and far the better made one. Now, I've had a lot of conversations over the last 2 weeks since I released that video, and with engineers and different and the like. And I mean, just across the board, the Buku is the better built scale. Now, even Tate Mazer, who's a fellow YouTuber and an engineer and a coffee professional, he is super excited about the Buku, and I think he's going to do a full teardown video to show the microchips in it and all, like, get extra nerdy further than I did with his video because he's really excited about it. I also got the Varia scale, and the Buku is built way better than that. The Varia is quite lackluster for the price point. The Akaya Lunar is built better than the Varia. The Varia's internals are pretty rough, pretty rough. Little shocking that they're charging what they are for it, but anyway. Watched your unfiltered Odyssey Argos video last night. Pre-ordered one. Now to wait till Q2 2025. It is a fun machine. I still pull it out every now and then when I have guests because it fast heat up, tasty espresso. I do wish they went with a smaller portafilter. That's definitely my biggest gripe, but it's still really nice. What made you buy the Rancilio? The fact that it can be Gajuinified and the price. I don't know why. I just want to Gajuinify everything right now, just for the shits and giggles. Excuse my curse. That's why I'm getting the little $90 DeLonghi in. I'm gonna put a Gajuino on it. I'm gonna get a Lilite. What is it? The Anna, and I'm gonna Gajuinify it. I'm getting the Rancilio. I'm gonna Gajuinify it. It's just fun. I don't know. I'm in that, I hyperfixate on things, and right now I'm really into electronic engineering, and that's what I've been doing every night is watching electrical engineering videos on YouTube. Every single night I've been watching, like, how PCBs are made. I've been watching long, hour-long, 2-hour-long MIT courses on electrical engineering. I've been watching... it's been what I've been doing every night, essentially. Just trying to really further my understanding of all this, just because it's been really fascinating for me. So that's been my new obsession. I have multimeters and I have all these things, but for Black Friday, I also just bought like that frickin' Fluke 87V multimeter. I'm being silly. I went and got I bought some new soldering tools, and I'm just being really dumb right now. But I really enjoy it. So yeah, I have more than enough hardware to build more Gajuinos. So I'm just putting them on every machine I want because it's fun. I don't know. Let's see. Buy crap reminds me of the joke about the poop store. Oh yeah, so be informed or buy crap. So essentially, you either need to be informed so you don't buy crap, or you're going to buy crap. This is what I mean by that. Be informed or buy crap. That's all I mean by it. We're just a little vulgar here tonight, because this is the evening sessions with me. It's I'm not a huge fan of Black Friday, but also, like, a lot of people need it in order to buy some decent gear, and also I need it in order to not, like, go broke on this channel whenever I buy a lot of stuff. Like, I bought a lot of camera gear. We've been holding off for months waiting for Black Friday because Ugo needs some new stuff, and it's just like I can't afford it. And I'm magically able to one day a year because of frickin' pricing going down through the butt. So, anyway. would you consider or recommend an upgrade from a Q2 Espresso to a K6 King grinder? Thank you. Only if the size and the grinding is a perturbance. The quality of grind is not going to go up very much at all. Maybe the granularity will if you're doing espresso, and then the ease of it will be higher, and you can add more coffee. But if you're looking for a massive change, no. I'm interested in a new espresso machine. By the way, for people watching this video within the first 24 hours of it being published, chat replay will not be there. It takes 24 hours of process, just so people know. But I'm interested in a new espresso machine. Have a Profitec Go at work, and after your Gajuino video, I'm pretty interested in that for home. How would you rate it compared to L'Elite, Bianca, or Decent? So the thing is those are all completely different worlds, right? So doing a Gajuino on a Gaja Classic Pro, which you could do it on the Profitec if you wanted to for a little higher quality even. But the thing about it is it's a budget machine still. So I think that obviously you have higher quality parts throughout the Bianca. The Decent's a little more sus just because it's all a computer. The Gajuino, if you're using strictly a Gaja, at the base of it is built really well, and there are very few issues with Gajas if maintained well. Same can be said about the Bianca, though. So it just really depends on what you're wanting for you, right? It's hard to. That's a really difficult comparison because they're all so different. Usually, you wouldn't throw the Bianca in there, even though it can flow profile. It's very limited, so that's mostly for people who really want an out-of-the-box experience, but is also all hardware and not software. And someone who really enjoys that kind of design with, some play. You can do some flow control. But obviously the control in a Gajuino and a Decent is unparalleled outside of those two. Not technically just those two. There's actually another mod that's been around for a lot longer than Gajuino called... I can't remember, but there's another one. You can find it on Homebreeze and other places. All right, let's see. Oh, Hoon's here. Someone said hi, Hoon. Hi, Hoon. Lance, do you remember with how much coffee did you season? Oh, I must be on public. Normally I do this just for Patreon. Well, the people that are here from the public as opposed to Patreon, you're lucky. Normally this is only for Patreon people, and for my Patreon, I'm very sorry. I hope I get to all of your questions. That's why we normally do it privately. This one... I guess, yep, okay. I've been using OBS, and it's weird. I don't know how to describe it, but okay. Well, that explains why we have 116 people on the live. Okay, well, anyway. Welcome to everyone who's not on the Patreon. Enjoy the late night Langens. That's Tangent Lance together. Castle Core, or Capsule Core. Yep, good. Okay. Do you remember with how much coffee did you season your 078? Just got it Black Friday sale. Well, congrats. That's a great grinder. And honestly, it took about 10 kilos for it to be great, but honestly, you don't need to put any in it, and it's good right off the bat. Oh, you said hi, Hoon. I thought you were saying Hoon was in this. Hi, Lance, what espresso gear will finally fill the gaping hole in my soul? Nothing. Find, so this is what you're going to do. Whenever there's another time and they're lifting it around, there are two diverging roads upon which there's never another thing. So when you're looking in the gaping, whenever it is for you, just don't ever 100%. I appreciate it. Okay, so whenever there's another thought you can unheard of, wherever it is. All right, that is my advice for that question, okay? So if you're ever curious about what to do with a gaping hole in your soul, just go back and listen to that, because that is my answer, and it will never fail you. Okay. I love my DeLonghi Stylosa with Gajuino. If you file out that fill you can have a 54mm basket in it too. You're the one who has the Stylosa with Gajuino. I'm coming to you, Justin. I'm coming to you for questions if I have any. I knew there was someone who had it. And I mentioned you in my video. I couldn't remember who had it. Well, I mentioned the person who did it to their Stylosa, and I couldn't remember who did it. Any awesome deals for filter coffee lovers? I have ZP6, K6, AirPress V60. Honestly, you've got the goats. You've got the goats. I don't know what else you would really need. If you're a filter coffee lover, ZP6 K6, you're spanning it. Like, I mean, I'm going through all the deals in my head. I don't see what you would need outside of that. You're covering that is the best all-encompassing filter setup one. You know what? I may do a video on that. That is good. I have all those grinders, and that is good. You may have just inspired a video, Miss Store. That is good. That is the ultimate filter setup, like, without having to worry about electronics shutting down on you or anything like that. I guess if you don't have a nice kettle, you could splurge for a decent kettle, or a nice scale if you wanted to, but in all reality, you don't need to, I mean, for filter, you don't need anything super crazy, and any type of kettle's gonna be fine, but that's fun. I like that. Kind of the ultimate filter coffee. Man, that's good. That's good. Kudos. Live stream start to finish of a Gajuinification would be fun. I've thought about that, but the thing is I wouldn't want Ugo to have to come and do that the whole time, and doing just one camera angle, me doing it by myself, would be real boring. That would suck. AUIOs closed their sources. Is that right? If so, for me, that's a big step backwards. They did. It doesn't bother me, though. She makes I feel this channel not be. I feel this channel helps me not be so impulsive. Do not be so impulsive. Okay. What's the cheapest semi-automatic machine you would get and why? I'm between buying another Bambino for work or getting some. That's funny that you ended with getting some. Getting something better for home. Buy cheap, buy twice. You're correct. For the most part. Would be great to see you on Hoon Blind Tasting. Love your videos. What's the cheapest semi-auto you would get and why? The cheapest semi-auto machine I would get, honestly, probably the Stylosa, because honestly, it is built quite well, and it's $99. Like, well, I guess $129 normally, and like after that, I probably wouldn't want to buy anything until. No, I like the Bambino. I do. And then after that, probably the Gaja. I don't know. It's really difficult. I probably would go all the way down to Stylosa, though. It has that stainless steel boiler, and honestly, it's built pretty well, and the parts are easy-ish to find. But yeah. I'm looking for not neutral cups shipped in Europe with not crazy shipping costs. Sorry. Don't know that. If anyone else knows, let me know, and I'll put it up. Where would you place the Urbonic on taste compared to the 250 grinder video that you did a live on Hoffman's video? Okay, good question. The Urbonic 060, or 070, sorry. The Urbonic 070, they're 60 millimeter burrs. They do a great job. I would definitely put it above the Smart Grinder Pro. I'm putting it above the Varia VS3. I'm putting it above the Fellow Opus, and I'm putting it above... Yeah, I'm putting it above everything except I would need to... I can confidently say it's above all the Cone Burr grinders, confidently. I would need to taste test between stock DF54 and the Urbonic 070 or 080. I have not had them in enough time for me to be able to make that call right here, right now, with stock. Now, I can be pretty confident that the Ditting burrs in the DF54 would beat stock Urbonic, but I would want to put the Gevi burrs in the Urbonic and do another taste test. So it's difficult, but I would say it's that good. I honestly, I forget about the Urbonic because it is such a niche grinder, and it's not a widespread, like, global grinder. It's made, out of South Korea, and not many people buy it, so I kind of forgot about it. Can you make a UK grinder work in the US? Yes, absolutely you can. Get a converter, transformer converter. Let's see, I'll show you an example. You just need one of these bad boys, okay? So look, this is a transformer. What this bad boy does is on the back, it's universal. So on the back, you can put what the input voltage is. So what is going into here. Now what we have to understand is the easiest way to understand voltage is pressure, okay? It's not really that, it's more of a potential, the potential charge or something. It's difficult. Voltage theory is difficult to kind of understand, but what most textbooks kind of teach it as is pressure. So in the US, you have 110, 120 volts of pressure. So it's like pressurized. It doubles the pressure coming out of outlets most everywhere else around the world. So if you put a machine that is not capable of resisting that or maintaining or holding that pressure, receiving that pressure, you're going to blow the machine. Very simply put. So what this does is it can convert it or transform the input voltage in order to have an output that your machine can take. So on here, I'm in 220 volt land, so I have it slid over to 220. That means whatever I put in here with this like computer cord, it's going to come in at 220. And then we go through, and there are two outputs. I can have an output if I plug into this outlet, the output is 110. If I plug into this outlet, the output is 230. Okay, so what you can do is, yeah, if you have the UK one, what you would do is you would put this into the wall. You would have it flipped over to 110. So I flip the little red thing to 110. Of course, yours may be a different brand. Flip it to 110. You plug this into your wall. And then you plug your UK device right into here, all right? And what this does is, this one is a 3,000 watt, 5,000 volt VAs, but I think it's a 3,000 watt. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought this at 3,000 watt. But anyway, it steps up your voltage so that you can run that off of your machine. Let me put this back on to 220 before I forget. So, yeah, you just need a transformer. So whenever I do the giveaways on Patreon, I always say, you know, this is 220, but you can get a transformer. Just make sure you get a strong enough transformer for what you've got. If it's a grinder, something like that 3,000 watt is way overkill for it. Or it's way more than enough. I have a 5,000 watt one. I'm sorry, that's not 3,000. The big one's my 3,000. That one is 500. Yeah, that's 500. So that is 5,000 volt amps. Duh. So, yeah. So you have the watts there, or the it's more than enough for a grinder. So I use that for grinder and kettles that have US plugs. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Oh, that's it. IT Oliva. That's it. Thank you. Bizarra Strega. I think it's very expensive for a heat exchanger spring lever machine, but I was looking at it today. I was hoping there was a Black Friday sale, but there wasn't. For grinders on Espresso Coffee Shop, it depends on what you like. Someone's asking what would I pick from their options, because they have some crazy options. Good deals on DF64 in Europe. I think it's just Me Coffee that has those, and I think they are on sale right now. Maybe a question that has been answered already, but I just joined a recommendation for Burrs for Niche Zero. No, there are no Burr options for it. Now I'm going to tell a little story real quick. I did have the plan of creating burrs for the Niche Zero, okay? I reached out to Hansung, and I asked him if he would like to create burrs for the Niche Zero with me. He politely declined because he said he was focusing on commercial grinders, and at the time that was the Ozic grinder, which is just now being open to the world. And so I was like, okay, cool, no worries. Then a guy named John Gordon of Gorilla Gear reached out to me and said, I heard you were looking to make burrs. Let's do that. So we had some meetings. I gave him some ideas on what to do with the burrs. He took the ideas. He said he would make some test burrs and send them to me. I never received the test burrs. The next thing I know, he was selling Niche Zero burrs from his shop. That was pretty frustrating for me. But I guess the good news is, for me, is there were a lot of QC issues. Not good news for the people who bought it, but at least I wasn't kind of tied to QC issues. But that was pretty frustrating. I reached out to him, and his response was that he was already he said he had like told me he was going to do that or something, which I don't recall that, but it was pretty frustrating. So I did have an attempt at making niche burrs, but I never actually got to finalize my idea. So yeah, there's not really niche burrs on the market. Are you going to review the SSP V1 Brew Burrs? Oh, I didn't know they re-released them. I will get some. Anti-consumer series breaking down how to upgrade existing grinders machines, like your DF54 video, but for popular grinders like Mignons. The issue with Mignons is largely to upgrade those, you need to do a lot of dremeling to them. And I really think people would flip their heads if they saw me dremeling Burr carriers. It would make a lot of people really upset, and I don't know how... I need to pop my back. Sorry. Woo! I don't know how worth it that would be. I've done it before, not on a video. I kind of talked about it in a Eureka video years ago, but I did it on Instagram once, but people lose their minds. Heard of the Barsetto E6 Air. Looks like Heavy Grindmaster without variable speed, lower spec motor, cheaper. Nice. That sounds good. They have definitely had too strong of a motor in it, like overkill. V60 Espresso X Pro and still struggling with bitter cups with your recipes. Is there a different dripper that is easier to get sweeter, bitterless cups? What grind setting? it's not the recipe, it's not the grinder, it's not the V60. It is how fine you're going. Coarsen that junk up and stop pouring as many times. I guarantee you're doing more than 2 pours, aren't you? Aren't you? Stop doing more than 2, maybe 3 pours, okay? Coarser, less pours, and don't go as hot. That's another thing. Cool down the temp, baby. What are the best tips and processes for making solid espresso with a stock Gaggia Classic Pro? I watched an old video by you, but I was wondering if you had any other tips. Honestly, you need to do the temp surfing just to make sure you have consistency. After that, I recommend pulling faster shots than longer shots. With the temperature fluctuations, it's pretty important to get that coffee in and out as quickly as possible. I would recommend doing faster shots if you want to have it unmodded, not changing the spring or anything. And you just, I would just, not PIDing it, just yeet the coffee out, yeet it out, and it will be better, and it will be as consistent as possible off that. So faster shots for sure. Even if it doesn't look pretty, don't worry about the pretty, worry about the taste, okay? How to improve my espresso? I have Bambino Plus and DF64 Gen 2 IMS basket and shower screen. So first off, for those of you who have Bambinos, you don't need to upgrade the basket or the shower screen. On Breville's, they're actually really well made. You can buy them if you want. They're not that much of an upgrade, if at all, especially the baskets. Breville makes incredible baskets, and this is something I showed in my fancy basket video. Even under a microscope, they're cut as well as VST and IMS. They're incredible. But yeah, to make it better, you just got to figure out what it is you like. A lot of times it's just your coffee choice, or a lot of times you're just trying to chase hype recipes. Don't do that. Experiment with really fast shots. Experiment with short shots, with long shots, with, just play around with it. Figure out what you like first and make sure you're choosing the right coffee. Are you doing the decaf project that Daddy Hoff set up? Yes, I have. I bought from the Parisian roaster. So whenever that gets in, I will be doing that. I want to get a manual espresso machine. Love the Flair 58 for aesthetic and workflow, but not sure it's worth the 700 euros. I agree it's not worth the 700 euros. I would recommend the robot. I have seen that if you're in Europe for around 350 euros right now, which is wild. I 100% would recommend the robot at 350 euros. That is the deal, okay? If you want manual, that is the crap. Trust me, it is the stuff. Do cups make a difference in taste? Anything you saw on sale? Yeah, but I would much prefer that you spend more time on getting better coffees. The differences you're going to tell in cups is only going to happen when you do blind tastings and side-by-sides. I don't think as much about my cupware, and I focus more on my coffees. I get cups that I enjoy holding and the color that I know is going to psychologically convince me one thing or another, or just something I'm happy to be holding, and that is as much as thought as I put into cups. I have done lots of blind tasting on different cup geometries, and while there is a perceptible difference, it's only truly noticeable when you're blindly tasting side-by-side, okay? So that is something I would definitely... It's not as big of a difference as like drinking whiskey from a Glencairn versus just a normal glass. That is a big difference because you have the funneling of the aroma. A lot of these coffee cups, first off, when you have steam coming out, it's carrying those volatiles much more intensely. Second, most of these coffee cups do have a little bit of a curve in them to allow the funneling of the aroma. So I would not worry too much about that unless you're drinking from like something weird right now. What filters? I have an X Pro, and is the setting is relation between imagine saying no to Lance. You better not say no to me. Whole latte love is a stray at $24.99. See, that's really expensive to me. For a heat exchanger spring lever machine, that's too expensive to me. I would rather have the Odyssey Argos, which has a spring option for like $1,200, half the price. I would and it's a smaller footprint. Like, the Strega is too expensive to me. And like it's similar to like the Londinium Vectis or whatever. No, yeah, the Londinium Vectis is like $2,100. That isn't worth it to me. Especially, I will say, I'm sure the Becerra Strega is built better. The Londinium is built in a notoriously lower quality factory up in England. That's just notorious about it. You can look on forums. I'm not saying that to be a toot. It's true. Frappuccino. It's not necessarily. Let's just say this. It's not known for putting out really high quality stuff. And at $2,100, it doesn't really make much sense to me. The Bizarra could be built. The Bizarra could be a perfected version of the Vectis, and it still would be overpriced to me because that's not saying it's a bad machine. I actually used one at an expo, and I love that. I really want one, but that's expensive. That is expensive. I would rather do something like the Argos, or like wait around or honestly, I've not gotten one yet, but I should have one coming soon. A Ponte Vecchio. They're much smaller. I know they have lower pressure and they're much smaller portafilters, but that actually is that's banging for me. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, how I improve my espresso. I've been being up. Oh yeah, we talked about that. A Swelter 078S. What is this? Of Sculptor 078S are the 78 Turbo Burrs worth the 129. I got those 70s, but have been on the filter only kick for past 4 months. If you're on a filter only kick, yes, it's worth it. It is. I do think so. See if there are used ones though online. Okay, go and look at Facebook forums, ask in different forums, look to see if there are used ones first. Okay, because my bet is with Le Brew coming out with theirs and with SSP, there are people. Here's the thing. Here's a hot take. People are so consumerism is such a slippery slope, and it takes so many daggum victims every second of the day. Now this is happening currently. A new player in the field of burrs has arisen called Le Brew. And their stuff is good. I have some of their burrs. It's great. It's really good. It's definitely up there with SSP as far as best quality burrs. Like, it's really nice. Are they doing anything super ingenious as far as burr geometry? Not necessarily. Have they done anything even like as innovative as Time War? No. Neither has Hansung really. It's using a lot of other geometries and just making slight changes and then really perfecting the burr crafting process. So machining it with really high quality. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. I'm glad these players are coming to the game. There are very few burr manufacturers in the world. That sounds shocking, but a lot of the burrs you love are actually made through another burr manufacturer. Like, for instance, I have actually read that Le Brew doesn't manufacture their own burrs, but they're working with Linglong to do it. That's that. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but someone did tell me that. But yeah, anyway, so... what was I saying? What's going to happen? The hot take. I knew this was going to happen when I saw Le Brew come up and I saw their marketing. I immediately thought, you know what's going to happen? People are going to disavow SSP and talk about how, the burrs SSP always have the same taste about them that, is just boring or harsh or whatever. Now Le Brew is the best. They're sweet or whatever. And it's just going to cause people to buy $10,000 more worth of other burrs. They're going to say everything else is crap till another burr maker comes up. And then they're going to have a nostalgic response and say, actually, SSP was the best. And then they're going to go to the new burr creator, and it's going to be one of those things because burrs are the untapped potential right now in the coffee world, meaning there aren't many third-party burr creators, and now they're on the rise, and it's going to cause these mass hysterias, and it's going to be an interesting time to suss through that. But all that to say, because SSP and Le Brew are creating 78mm burrs, there will be those hybrid burrs on the used market, so keep your eyes peeled. I still think those are worth getting, even if the Le Brew and SSPs are great. I think that those hybrid burrs are so good they're worth having a pair, period. I don't think you'll be missing out not opting for the others, so look for used ones. Okay, that's enough. Off topic is, are Pavlis water necessary for machines in your opinion? I wouldn't say necessary, but I use it exclusively for my espresso machines, and if I need more minerals, I post-mineralize using my Lotus drops. So Lotus right now, shameless plug, I co-founded a company. I've not yet made a dime from it, so it's not like I'm rolling in dough from it. But Lotus Water Drops, co-founded that company a couple of years ago. We actually have a one-day only sale. Go to our website. I think it's like 15 or 20% off if you would like it. If you're not in the States where that discount really does help a lot. I know that Godshot and Square Mile, the shop that James Hoffman owns, they sell it. Godshot is our distributor out here. And I know Scott Rayo, I think, ships globally on his website, Lotus. So go check that out if you would like. But I just post mineralized with Lotus Drops. But Pavlis water keeps your machine safe from corrosion and safe from scaling. So there's no reason not to use it, in my opinion. I'm from Romania and it's 2,000 USD here. That's still expensive as heck, I'll be honest. I still wouldn't want to pay that. Make a difference in aroma. Whiskey, yeah, there we go. I had a little hard time understanding where you recommend the K6 over the Q2 in terms of pour over cup quality. So earlier when I was talking about the two, no, I was not. I think that you would be hard-pressed to differentiate them. I think they're very similar, and I think some cups you might prefer K6 and some Q2, and I think that would be largely random. So the K6 and Q2 are largely similar in quality, though the K6 burrs are a bit bigger. I'm very impressed with the Q2 heptagonal cup quality. The big difference would be ergonomics, because you have external clicks on the K6. Size, the K6 is not as compact as the Q2. That being said, it has more capability of holding in coffee. And third, a capability for espresso, you have more granularity and easier use of the K6 because it is bigger. You can grind it a lot more quickly than the Q2. So it comes down to those kind of three things. I would not say that there's a big taste disparity between the two. It's more so ergonomics and form factor. Man, I was really articulate right there. You are welcome. Okay. Do you have a recommendation for water filtration at home if the local water is quite hard? You can buy something like there's some tabletop reverse. There's actually a tabletop reverse osmosis system on Kickstarter right now. Looked pretty cool. I cannot vouch for it because it's Kickstarter. But something like that would be nice. Or you can get like this. If it's pretty hard, you can just get like some sort of carbon filtration system, which would be nice. But it is pretty hard when it's super hard water because you're going to go through filters quickly, which can also be pretty wasteful. But, you know. I have the 98 brew burrs. I think the 64 V1. Ooh, someone gave me a tip. Thank you. How important is H2O for espresso? A simple recipe. H2O is so important for espresso. I cannot understate that. It is so important. But the biggest importance with espresso, without question, is your bicarbonate count. And that's why I think it is okay to use the R. Pavlis water on every espresso machine. Now, R. Pavlis, this is where it gets a bit complicated. R. Pavlis is someone that works with water for a living. He's brilliant. He does water chemistry and everything. He's someone you need to listen to. And so he created a recipe that disallows corrosion. And just so you know, when you use water that is too soft or even distilled water, you will corrode your machine. And then, because it leaches elements from the machine and it causes corrosion. If you use too hard of water, or if you have too big of an offset when it comes to your general hardness, you're going to cause scale buildup. And all of that will mess your machine up greatly. Pavlis water states about 45 to 60 parts per million of potassium bicarbonate should be your only mineral makeup in water. This means that you can get reverse osmosis water or you can get distilled water and you add that amount using some sort of scale in order to weigh out those salts. Now, you can buy potassium bicarbonate online, not a big deal. It's not some sort of reactive material, and you add it to water as a solution, and that's what I would recommend you putting in your machine. Now, the biggest taste differentiation in espresso is reliant upon bicarbonates. That is what buffers the acidity. General hardness can have an effect, but it is much smaller in practice, okay? So I would not worry as much about your general hardness as I would about your carbonate hardness. And I would say only use carbonate hardness if you want to keep your machine as safe as possible. 45 to 60 or 70 parts per million of potassium bicarbonate. If you're confused on what that actually means, there are ways you can look online to teach you how to make water with that concentration. Good question. 98 brew burrs. I think the 64 V1 are almost as good. Oh, wow. Matt, that is a ballsy thing to say, my man. I'm gonna be testing that. You better believe it. Not Black Friday. I just said that weird. Not Black Friday related, but I'm looking to upgrade stock EK43 bursts for my shop. Looking to do filter, but also play with single origin espresso. Oh, look, someone gave me $10. Yo, that is so kind. I'm sorry, the people I pay, I'm gonna go to them real quick because it also, my phone like shows it real quick and it's like in my face. I own a Turin DF83V, thank you Maku, and I'm pretty happy with it. However, I recently received an invite to pre-order a Zerno Z1. In the pursuit of consistency, do you think I should order the Z1? I own a TF2 and I'm pretty happy with how I recently received an invite to pre-order. Consistency. Pursuit of consistency. So here's the thing. Unless you're pulling like 40 shots a day, I really don't think you're going to notice the inconsistency that the DF83 could give you in comparison to the Zerno. I think the DF83 is a solid grinder. Now, that being said, if you have been saving up and wanting a Zerno, then you could probably sell the DF83 and the burr sets you have for it and put that towards the Zerno. But if you are like, I'm happy with my DF83, I don't really want to spend the extra $800. Should I just keep my DF83? I think probably just stay with the DF83. And if you really want to upgrade, throw in some SSPs. Now, because keep in mind, the DF83 does have pretty substantially bigger burrs than the Zerno does. Yes, the Zerno is blind with a much better auger in it, and better alignment and better build. It is. Will it produce better coffee and more consistent coffee? I'm not so sure. Will it last longer? That I would argue, yeah, the Zerno is going to last longer if I had to put money on which one will last longer if you started them on the same day and let them go in perpetuity, if that makes sense. Okay, so I believe that there's here. How about this? There's a higher chance the Zerno will last a long time than the DF83V. Okay, I do believe that from taking them both apart and using them relentlessly. But do you need to upgrade it for consistency? I would say no. Yeah, I would say no. Unless you have the expendable money to do that without like potentially regretting it. That's the big thing. You don't want to have regret, buyer's remorse. You also don't want fear of missing out. Like that, it's sucky, but that's the world of consumerism, right? So that would be my advice. So Espresso Steel Duo Plus version with extra accessories a good buy at €1,700, or is the Elite Bianca better value at $2,000? Look at oh, that's pounds. Oh God, I'm dumb. Ooh, those are that's both expensive. Oh, the Plus version. Do the non-Plus version and save a couple £100. It's probably what I would do. Even though I probably prefer the Bianca as far as build. I definitely prefer it for build quality. I'm so over boilers. I do love the Bianca, but yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do plastic cups. Someone says I find a plastic cup seems to change the taste, but that could be a bias. I've also got the Parisian roaster. Do you know them? I do not actually. I just saw it was the closest one to Portugal. I've never heard of them. I was just trying to save shipping. There's like no need to ship long distance if not necessary, so I'm trying not to. Will your Monster Files video will ever come out? Yes, listen, this isn't new, okay? I always take multiple months with grinders, especially if they're more expensive, okay? I don't just drop reviews right when I buy a grinder. I like to take my time to ensure I'm giving you the best information possible. The thing that's holding back the Mazzer Philos review is I took a lot of particle size data, and I'm waiting for Jonathan Gagne, who actually texted me during this video. He's working on it tonight. I'm waiting on him to analyze the data and graph it for me because, you know, I can't be bothered to do all that. So, grinder solely for filter. I have a Time War C3. It's just not doing it for me anymore. Solely for filter. The ZP6 or the Pietro Pro Brew. Espresso Coffee Shop's got them on a big discount if you're in Europe or something. Do a video about making my own water without crazy expensive that are 0.01 increments. Yeah, I do eventually want to do that. I'm not going to lie, though. I kind of want to have a bit more followers with notifications turned on that will watch videos so the video doesn't tank. I can see a water video that would take a lot of time and effort on my end really tanking. And if you remember, I do need videos to do somewhat well because I do have to pay Ugo full time. And just to give you an idea, My best video, my best performing video over a 12-month period is still my first video ever, how to steam milk. In the last 12 months, that video has made $1,800, okay? And that's 12 months of combined ad revenue. That's 365 days. And even with all of my new videos that have come out, that's still my best. So you can tell that all the other ones are much lower. And so that's $1,800, and then I pay 600 of that as taxes. So $1,200 in a year on one video. Okay, now that is a really good high-paying video, which should tell you that my other videos are nowhere near that. So I need a video to hopefully make $500 over a year, so that I can, pay Ugo well and make sure all the expenses are met and the taxes are made. So essentially, what I'm trying to get at is I'm not trying to make 100,000 views per video, but I definitely need a guarantee it's going to get more than like 10 or 20,000 views. 10 or 20,000 views is like $90 in a year. So I really got to make sure, I'm not losing. Oh, Elliot Hatcher coming through. Thank you. I don't think you have a question there, but Elliot Hatcher. Oh no, I've been answering your questions, so thank you very much. I've been answering. Yeah, I remember. I've answered. I've said your name a few times. Very nice. Okay. Oh, good news. Gagne just texted me again. He has the data pulled up, and it's working. So he's checking out data for Maser Phylos. That's good news. Okay. Oh, the 078 Turbo Burrs. 078. I've been forgetting to do this. 078 Turbo Burrs. 20%. Oh, shoot. 20% off on Time More website for people who are curious. Okay. Oh, sweet. Wow. 3D prints coming through hard. Wow. Thank you so much. Dadgum. Y'all are being way, way freaking kind. Would you say a moisture content and density meter are a good buy for home roasting? Absolutely, but I would also recommend I'm blanking on the name of it. It's to measure pressure inside the drum. I can't think of the name of it right now. Go read. Here's the thing. What I highly recommend you do is go read Christopher Ferron's blogs on home roasting. He is what I am with grinders and espresso machines, he is with home roasting machines. Now, I know very well the Røst, R-O-E-S-T, from Norway. That's mine of poison. I refuse to, go too crazy with home roasters because that could just be insane. And Fran, I feel like, is already doing that well. But, I measure pressure inside the drum itself. It's a very important metric that I definitely recommend. For green storage and green reading, definitely moisture is an important, moisture and density is very important. Let's see. Where were we at? Lowest water distributor in Saudi Arabia. We don't have a distributor in Saudi Arabia. We have one that we're starting to work with in Singapore, though, in Glyph Coffee. Looking for a hand grinder for AeroPress at work. Would you say I should look for grinders good at pour over? I've got the best one for you, and it's on it's on my Amazon list. If you can find it cheaper, I prefer you to do that. But I don't really find it in many places. The Q2 heptagonal from EasyPresso fits inside of an AeroPress, and I can show you that right now. I've always got a Q2. Q2 heptagonal fits in an AeroPress, and that is honestly one of the big reasons I would choose this over a K6. I would choose a K6 over this if I wasn't doing AeroPress. So K6 and Q2 heptagonal are very comparable grinders. It's really down to I do hate internal clicks, by the way, and the Q2 does have internal clicks, but when you have come on, it fits in a freaking AeroPress. That is yummy. Okay, that's what I say. But I soon want to buy my first proper espresso machine after Dedica, mainly for milks. For espresso, I have Cafe Latte. Well, Robot's great. Thinking maybe Escasso, Dream PID, and Lagome Casa. Those sound great. Those sound really nice. It depends on your exact budget and exactly what you're wanting out of your espresso. But you've named two well-known, well-received brands with good customer service. Mignon Specialita, but was thinking of getting a nice hand grinder. Could it get me better espresso that is on the lighter side compared to the Specialita? Oh, absolutely. So Specialita, you're not going to get better than that. Honestly, that's one. This is a hot take. In my opinion, there is no grinder below at least $1,000 that does medium to dark roasted espresso better than the Specialita. When it comes to syrupy, beautifully tactile textured shots, the niche, crap texture in comparison. Now, I'm not saying the niche is like terrible or anything. I'm saying that the people obsess over cones giving you chocolate. Oh, this just gives me straight chocolate. And they overlook flat burrs. And so I'm speaking in strong terms with the Specialita because it does the stereotypical idyllic cone shot, but with flat burrs. It gives you such incredible texture. Specialita is great for medium and dark. Now, lighter roasted coffees for espresso. I have a ton of options, but it depends on your budget. But something like the X Ultra or the K Ultra, those are both. The X Ultra would be a bit cheaper, but you could also do something like. I would always recommend Easy Presso, and I think X Ultra is great, and that's a little cheaper than the K Ultra. But both of those would do great for light roast. The price of the Morning Dream steamer went up. I was considering, now it's way overpriced. Yeah, I wouldn't do the Morning Dream. It's too expensive. Literally just opened my Pietro. Heck yeah! I was going to ask about reverse osmosis water, but you answered for me. Heck yeah. Try them. I will try them, Matt. I will try those 64s. I'm going to message Hansung after this, probably. I've seen a lot of people say our Pavlis to put 10 grams of that into 1,000 and put the 10 mils of that solution into 1 liter of water. Do you have a different way of doing it? There's lots of ways of doing it. The biggest thing I need you to understand is you need a lab grade scale, something that goes down to 0.01. You don't need to buy something crazy expensive, but you need to have something that is very accurate. Otherwise, you could way over or underdo your potassium bicarbonate. You have a question about blind shaker distribution, and there it is. I have a bomber shaker, and it seems grounds always land to one side. Am I shaking wrong? Probably, but also the bomber, it doesn't have as good of a coating. But it's not about shaking wrong. It's more so, a lot of people missed this in my video. Whenever you're shaking, it doesn't matter how you shake. Shake, 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 whatever. But then when you're done, I do a little tap, tap. And then you need to hold it above the portafilter. You don't want it, let's say this, I know this is a basket. Oh, you know what? Or not a basket, a funnel. But it's okay because I actually have a portafilter right here. Everything is within reaching. You do not want to set it directly on your portafilter. I know that it has rims for it, and you want to do this, and then it falls to one side. Don't do that. Lift a few, like 4 or 5 centimeters, and then take out the middle, and it will fall, and it won't land to a side. Okay? Okay. Madcap scope review. Oh, actually, I pulled it out, and I've misplaced it. I need to do that. I have it out ready to do a review on the Madcap. A bomber shaker, and it seems grounds. Yeah, I already did that. Appreciate the advice. Would you put a pH on water glide out? I find it so confusing. Yes, that's a good idea, actually. Do you have a recommendation for a Burr that could replace my stock EK43 burrs for filter and special? Also, any Le Brew Hyper Experience, can it do Spro? I don't have the Hyper Brew. No, I need to get a set of them soon. For a Burr that could replace my stock EK43 for filter and occasional SO, I would probably. For filter and occasional SO. Honestly, low uniformity is pretty dang good. It does great filter and it does good espresso. That's a good one, I would say. But you could also do the high uniformity. It does pretty good filter, and it does really nice espresso. Those are probably the two most solid options. I don't like the ULF burrs nearly as much. At 98. I love them at 80, but not at 98. Those would probably be my 2 recs. Yeah. Yes, Dalton. I remember you asking that, and I thought I responded, but I guess I didn't. Now I have. If you could make cameo grinding some coffee with intense passion in any movie, which one would it be? If you make cameo grinding some coffee with intense passion in any movie, with current directors, let's see. Honestly, if now I know this might be a little controversial because this director, a lot of people either love or hate his films, but I think it's some of the most beautifully shot films. Um, if Paolo Sorrentino wanted to make another Great Beauty where he had it filmed in that way, I would love to be passionately grinding coffee in something like that out in Italy. Um, Beauty, I think, is so beautifully shot. I would, and I know that the people have lots of opinions on that movie, and that's fine. But my goodness, you cannot argue how beautifully it is shot. It is truly a love letter to Rome. Wow. Either that, or if Terrence Malick wants to do something similar to like Days of Heaven, because wow, that is, I think that's probably the most beautifully shot film of all time, and I love me some Terrence Malick. So probably one of those. You probably weren't expecting that now, were you? Yeah, Lance likes movies. All right. Did you think about doing some lawn art workshop in Portugal? I would definitely join. Maybe. I might do that. Kaltra fits into an AirPress XL. Oh, nice. I've not gone an XL yet. You see her fits in my AirPress Premium. Lance does ads if you want to. Me personally, I wouldn't care as long as you were paying yourself and Ugo well and pushing quality content. Much love. Yeah, I do. I actually bought Ugo an EG1 this year. Last year in Olympia Cremina. But that's because you all. I don't like. I'm not trying to make money off of YouTube and Patreon. If there's like some excess funds, I push it all to Ugo, whether it's in gift form or in money form. And I also just bought him a really nice pair of headphones for editing. Bought him for the audio files. I bought him the Audi's, was it LCD X or something? Yeah, if any audio files are here. Argos V3. I've not looked at Argos V3 actually. I bought a Euro swap for Espresso Burrs, 20 more Euro. Great. Oh, great. Yeah, swapping out burrs can be great sometimes. Hello, and says, is it possible to remove upfront bitterness from a light roast V60 switch brew on a 350 RPM 48mm pentagonal espresso focused conical? Thank you for all of that information. That makes me excited. Or should I stick to turbo-ish blooming lever spro? You should stick to turbo-ish blooming lever spro. Maybe a weird comparison, but I wonder how the DF54 compares to a J Ultra in taste. Crazy to think they're in the same price category. I would say they're probably pretty comparable, but the DF54 would probably win out just a bit. But that I've not done directs. That's me just guessing based off of my taste lexicon, my taste history. What would you say a lot of this would last? How many gallons? I think we have that on our website. It's a lot. It's more than one thing of Lotus does last longer than a thing of like third wave water. Third wave water is great, by the way. But per gallon, they last very long. I don't know the per gallon, but it's on our website. Especially still better than the DF54 on lighter roasts. Probably not on stock burrs. If you did DF54 with didding, it's definitely not better. But the Specialita, here's the deal. If I could get a Specialita or a DF54, same price, I'm probably choosing Specialita because it is a build quality I know will last 10 years. DF54, while I know it's built well, it's not proven yet, right? Even though I've taken it apart and it looks great, I was not familiar with the motor. It was a different motor than what I've seen. I was not familiar with it, and so it's one of those things where like it probably will be fine, but the Specialita's proven, and they have a face behind the company that I can reach out to, kind of thing. But the DF54 is great. That's not to say I wouldn't trust DF54. I do. I think it's great. But, I mean, you have to remember the Specialita is double the price normally. Okay. Would you recommend buying refurbished grinders, machines, etc. if they come with a great discount? Absolutely I would, especially if they're well built. About the shaker, also slamming on the table. Yes, agreed. X-Bloom Studio is the only coffee thing I could have been convinced to buy this Black Friday. Hopefully it keeps getting cheaper so I can gift one to everyone I know and get them into good filter coffee. I'm so happy you said that. My dad just visited and he is obsessed with his X-Bloom. He uses it all the time. It's great. Decent and Niche Zero plus DF83 all found used. Now selling both grinders to try something better. Mostly do light roasts and funky shots. What hand grinder and electric grinder as replacement? Cafetech? I mean, if you want to... listen, you sound like you're a sensible person and not someone that is trying to just throw money. So if you're not trying to throw money, the Cafetech is well-built grinder, but that is throwing some money for marginal gains. Mostly do light roasts and funky shots. I don't... Wait, sorry. These are concerning texts I'm getting from... Oh, no. I gotta check that out. Okay. Damn, I gotta watch Great Beauty now. It's beautifully shot. It really is. Yeah, so I would the Niche Zero and the DF83, if you're using stock burrs, yeah, they're definitely not going to give you what you want for light roasts and funky shots. I would probably say, if you want funky shots, just do find a used P100 for $1,900 and put HU burrs in it. Because if you say Cafetech, that means you're willing to spend money. P100 with HU burrs is a very famous grinder in the home enthusiastic world for funky shots. I would recommend that. Yeah, Audi's were old coffee lover and audiophile from Vienna. Heck yeah. So you appreciate that I bought Ugo that. Nice. I make multiple cups of coffee per day, and my Lotus drops have lasted months. Yeah, mine lasts for a long time. I'm avoiding Black Friday consumerism. Pick them at EG1 secondhand. That said, Shine has come off pretty quickly. So bad at stalling with the DB2 Ultras. That and the cable ties. Yeah, so I do try to... That's why I have the Black Friday is today. Consumerism is inevitable. We be informed by crap. I'm not trying to push people go out and buy. It's more of an inevitability, and I would prefer people to buy something that's not going to fill our landfill, and something that is serviceable and reusable and things like that. So it's more... I'm more like that. Oh, thank you so much, Larry. That is super kind of you. Hope you're well. I have a DF64V with DLCs. That's great. I'm considering getting DF83 with Lab Sweets. Do you feel it would be a significant improvement in the cup? I'm strictly using Espresso, using Flip 58 Plus. No, it would not be a huge improvement in my opinion. Would it be a change? Yes. Is it guaranteed that you would like that change enough to compensate? No. I think the DF64V with DLCs is great. If you are just, I don't think you need to make that upgrade, essentially. Of course, your decision. I would say stick with what you have. If you did want to make a change, I would make it more lateral so you're not spending extra money, but maybe... like when I say lateral, I mean like going from like a DF64V to like maybe the Time More 064 with and you can use some different bursts. But I would not spend extra money hoping for a big improvement. I think the Lab Suites are great at 83, don't get me wrong. But whether or not it will be a step up just because the burrs are bigger is not necessarily true. So I would recommend sticking with where you're at and just play with different profiles, play with your water, play with temperature, play with different roasters. And I think you'll be more than happy, and you'll save money. Flare 58, I do 18 grams, and I sometimes push it to 70 grams. Still a bit sour no matter what pressure profile I do, and I don't think it's because I had a Gaja and I was pulling amazing shots at lower ratios. 18 grams and sometimes. Oh, it's how much preheating are you doing? If you've seen my videos, it takes a lot to preheat a Flare 58. You may be just brewing it at really cold temperatures. You need to take that bad boy off and preheat the mess out of it. So the stalling with the DB2 Ultra Burrs, Jason, this will happen. Just slow feed it. It doesn't happen to me that often, though, to be honest with you. But whenever it does happen, just slow feed it, and it won't happen. And I think coffee tastes drastically better slow feeding. And to the person who is at Larry, try slow feeding your DF64 if you want to try something a little different. That will change your cut profile. No questions asked. It will. Honey Pea. What to change in default settings, replace in a Lilith Bianca. I don't know what you mean by that. Any recommendations for what to change in default settings? What do you mean? For what purpose? Have you tried Apex Labs? How does it compare to Lotus? It's tricky because you were involved with Lotus. It's not tricky. Apex is great. So Apex is not... So here's the thing to understand. Apex is the same thing... So Apex is like Lotus in one sense, but it's closer to Aquacode than it is to Lotus. Aquacode has been on the market for a long time, much longer than Lotus and Apex. Aquacode came around the same time as Perfect Coffee Water and Third Wave Water. All three of those companies are just pre-made recipes that you can add to water. So Third Wave Water, they have like 2 recipes or something. You open it and it's powder. You add it to a gallon of water, you shake it up, you've got your water. Perfect Coffee Water, same thing. They have their own pre-made recipe. You dump powder in a gallon, you shake it up, you've got it. Aqua Code took a slightly different route. You have your pre-made recipe, but they made it in a liquid form. You tear open the pouch, you pour it in your water, bada bing, bada boom. You've got a better integrated, because it's not powder, it's liquid situation. Lotus is the constituent parts of those recipes. So you make your own recipes with different cations, okay, and bicarbonate. Apex is simply Aqua Code, but they are Simon's own recipes. So you don't really have control over the different makeup. You have control over concentration in the same way you do with Aqua Code and Third Wave Water and with Perfect Coffee Water. So what I was doing with Lotus is I was trying to move away from what Apex is doing, not because what Apex is doing is wrong. I love Simon, and I think what he's doing is great. But what he's doing is creating recipes for you to then use without having to think. I wanted to make accessible creating your own recipes at home so you don't have to rely on pre-made recipes, if that makes sense. So what Simon is doing is, I think he has 3 or 4 recipes that he has pre-made using cations, using the bicarbonates, using the general hardness, carbonate hardness, all that stuff. He creates his own recipes, puts them in bottles with droppers, and then you create your own concentration of his recipes, whether it's lilac or tonic or whatever it is. Lotus, however, is lilac, it is tonic, but it's broken up and you need to recreate it. Granted, we only have 4 minerals, and I think he uses 6 overall, but you could essentially recreate Apex with Lotus, but then you would need to know his concentrations, and he doesn't release that online. So it's not a weird thing. I love Simon. I hang out with him every chance I get. We just have very different approaches. I wanted water chemistry to be broken down, people to play on their own, and to eventually make their own concentrates at home. And he's doing his thing, which is more similar to Third Wave Water and to Aqua Code. And that's all that is to it. Easy. I picked up a Eureka Mignon Zero for 220 pounds. Yay, Black Friday. Heck yeah. Let's see. Major shots at low ratios. Yeah, we had talked about that. Vario W Plus have the dating burrs that you put in the DF54. Yes, it does. The Vario W Plus. I can't remember, actually. You'll need to check online. It'll say it, though, whether it's the steel burrs or ceramic burrs. You want the steel if you want the dittings. Glad your dad likes that Explain tasting video with Dad coming when. He just flew back this morning. Any gains upgrading Gen 2 or filter coffee? Any gains upgrading Gen 2 burrs to SSP pour over filter coffee only, medium to light roast? Any gains to SSP? Yeah, there are gains, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And if it's filter coffee only, apparently he just re-released the V1, and that should be definitely considered. Oh, thank you so much, Maku. Wow, that is a lot of money. Thank you so much. Do you have a favorite set of burrs for the DF83V? People, y'all are tipping like too much. This is crazy. Favorite set of burrs for the DF83V is specifically for espresso. I'd choose clarity over body if I had to. I brew beans of all kinds of roast levels. Thanks in advance. Yeah, I do. Come on. Of course I do. Okay. So, let's go through it. 83 millimeter multi-purpose burrs. You know I love me some multi-purpose burrs, and the 83 millimeter is no exception. I love it. I would prefer just the Silver Night. I don't think you need to get the Red Speed. Silver Night's great. It takes less to season, and there's not a weird second seasoning process. I prefer just Silver Night to Red Speed, but you do what you got to do. Obviously, the high uniformity, they do a solid job. That's definitely not for the clarity peeps, though. So if you want to get that, you can, but they're solid. Then, of course, we've got Lab Sweets. We have Red Speed and just Silver Night. I prefer Silver Night, but the Red Speed is fantastic. If I were to rank them for clarity, obviously the multi-purpose would be highest, then Lab Sweet, and then you would have the high uniformity. That all being said, I think my go-to for just filter would have to be just a multi-purpose, but if I was doing filter and espresso, it'd probably be my preference to do the Lab Sweets. Hey, Simon, Apex works for my fave local roaster. Heck yeah. No, I love Simon. Need to transcript all this advice to a Lance LLM and then have my own Lance chatbot available 24/7. I'm actually working with a company. They're based out of Cornell, and they're making a Lance bot. And so we're going over it. I actually need to respond to their email. So that'll be something. They've been working with other, like they worked with Huberman and other people. And these other people are making it a paid service for light people. But I'm planning on making it free because I want it to be helpful. And so we're working pretty hard on it. Been for a few months now, but yeah, that should be a thing soon. Improving tasting skills. Tell a good coffee from bad one, but not more subtle differences. Painful. Man, I have a ton more C3 and a Kale and don't notice too much change. No, so essentially, first you want to make sure you're not brewing too concentrated. So dilute your coffees, and that's going to help you tell the differences a bit more. If you're brewing like 1 to 14 or something, or espresso that's really concentrated, it will be more difficult to tell the difference. Dilute it a bit more, stretch out the flavors, you'll be able to tell more of a difference. One other big thing is I highly recommend you letting the coffee sit on your tongue. Let it sit on the tongue, and that's going to help quite a bit. Retrohaling is big. When you're done sipping, you're going to blow. So like, I retrohaled my water. You're going to pick up different things. But also just taste a lot of things. I always say taste, 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 and try to make memories. Electric version, though, do I have to wait after it beeps? Electric version of what? Okay, I've lost that. Oh, wow. Angry Murloc, thank you so much. I hope the chats have been helpful. Lance, have you tried to use the Lotus with a lab micro pipette? For example, to test 2 to 3 different recipes after splitting a single cup. Yeah, you can do all of that. I've diluted Lotus and done different things with different pipettes. Absolutely, you can do that. I'm usually pretty lazy though, and just do like a single drop of like magnesium into my espresso or something. The thing is, when you're getting really granular, it's not going to matter as much, especially in espresso or in a full amount of filter. If you're doing 30 or 40 or 42 ppm, it's like it is what it is. But yeah, absolutely. Placing in Bianca, I meant if you think that some parts are worth or need to be replaced for the best performance, example, a screen or shower. Oh, I gotcha. No. The Bianca is great right out of the box. Don't really need to change anything. I mean, I would probably change the basket out because they have like very Italian style baskets. They're not low quality baskets, but they're very much like like weirdly shaped. Let's see. I probably have one right below me. Well, I'm not finding it as quickly as I thought. I forgot I have like 47 baskets times 7 down here. I timed it by 7 because 47 didn't sound impressive enough. Okay, found one. So as you see, here's a Lilith basket, and I'm not as huge of a fan of that geometry, but honestly, if you're wanting darker kind of stuff, this will work fine, but yeah. Let's see. Where are we at? I like my Lotus. I guess one common pro of Apex and Lotus is post-brew mineralization. Absolutely. You could do that with Aquacode too, though. You just need to use a pipette. Have you an opinion yet on the 2 burrs choices for the Phylos? I mean, yeah, they do what they say they do. The espresso is espresso forward, and the filter is filter forward. The filter can do espresso. Yeah, but we'll talk more about that in the video, of course. Accidentally bought anaerobic fermented natural coffee. Tips for brewing it. Cool water, coarser grounds. Do not pour a lot. You want to under extract that based. Missed Black Friday, but recently got a used Super Jolly on eBay. 3D printed front panel. I like where I'm going. I like where it's going. Got fellow Ode 2. I like where it's going. Bellows instead of the hopper. Yeah, painted it matte black. Total cost 125 Great British pounds. That's what's up. You know I love that. Yes. Lancebot, nice. Should be reasonably easy to get up and running. Free legend. Oh yeah, I'm excited about it. What GH do you recommend for espresso light roast? Onyx Substance Manhattan. I use 60 kH and I add the GH part after brewing. That's what I recommend. That's perfect. Add GH after brewing. So sometimes I don't even add GH. I don't think it's really necessary when you have a really nice coffee. Now I need Lance Chatbot to tuck me into bed. Also, French Coffee Geek, been loving your Instagram stories. I run the Onyx EU account, so I'm the one reposting it all the time. Those have been fun, and you're loving the same coffees I am. There's some really nice ones, and we're roasting super light. I've been reading them all, and we're right there with Substance. We're a bit lighter than Manhattan, and right there with Substance, which is fun. Very different world though to be living in. It's a much harder world to live in without under roasting. Tuck you into bed. LOL. I finally am a happy traveler since when I coupled the AirPress with Time War Nano. Yes. Is it worth the effort to go to the Pico Presso? Would the Time War grind well fine enough? Yes, it will. It's not as fun grinding with it, but absolutely. And the Pico Presso is super fun. It's on sale right now, like $29 off or something. On their website, too. You don't have to do Amazon. I do have a link for it, but buy through their website. I think it should be the same price. I choose Lab Suite over MP for espresso and pour over. Jack of all trades, master of none. So it's more so at the 83 millimeter. I think that the MP 464 millimeters is more impressive at 64 than the MP 483 millimeters is at 83, if that makes sense. I do prefer 83 millimeter multi-purpose burrs to 64, but I'm saying for what they are. And so the Lab Suites at 83, I think, perform really well on pour over and make really sweet pour overs. And I think their espresso, for me, is more versatile and still has a ton of zing without being too much zing that the MPs tend to kind of create at the 83 millimeter size, if that makes sense. If you're following me there. I think that because the 64 millimeters are so much smaller, they don't cause as much intense acidity presentation as the 83s do with 83, and I think it makes it a little intense on espresso. And I think the sweetness and balance of the Lab Suites make life a lot easier. Let's see. What skills would you recommend for a cafe environment that aren't as expensive as the Akai? My manager is fed up with the Pirals breaking. Yeah, so if you want big ones for pour overs, you can do like the Time War mirror. They're like $50, and then you could, it does an okay job. I really like, if you want something smaller instead of a lunar, the Buku scale is built super well and can definitely survive in that hostile environment. You can do, if you really want to go uber cheap, you can. What's happening to the pearls? They're breaking. I'm super curious how they're breaking. Let me know. Interested to hear your thoughts on turn hang grinders compared to Easy Presso. Oh, why is everything within an arm's distance for me? It's kind of silly. I got the turn hand grinder and I had not yet opened it. Whoopsies. I'm opening it now. Wow, it has a striking resemblance to the Easy Presso, though. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, it's super quiet? Uh-oh. Okay. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, it's quiet when I lean too far back. Okay, got it. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, it's really dependent on where I'm at. Okay, wild. All right, so here we go. Let's just take a quick look-see at this, though. Oh, it's got a little... It's a heptagonal burr, so it is very similar to the Espresso. Looks like it's pretty well built. Obviously, I've not really done much with it. Just pulled it out of the box. But it looks reasonably well built. And it looks like maybe you can... Yep. That's kind of fun. You can kind of switch that out for a little shaker. I guess you could also have this in there if you wanted now. Okay, nice. All right, now we have this out, ready to test. Glad someone brought that up, so I remembered to take that out. All right. All right, let's continue. Rip ears, I had it at full volume. Oh, LOL, so sorry. Okay. Two shots in a row, $2,000 for regarding the Espresso Dream and Kaza question. Something packed with PID, faster warm up. Well, yeah, honestly, if those are your kind of guidelines, then yeah, the Espresso is great. Super fast warm up, really compact. I think they're well built when you look inside. Just make sure you're being careful with your water. Thermoblocks can corrode. Something compact with PID, faster warm up. I don't think I'd benefit from a dual boiler. Yeah, don't need it. 2 shots in a row, easy with that. And then it's all about whether the Kaza works for you or not, which seems like it does. I know it's this thing, but would you go live for the Hoffman decaf cupping? I'm excited for it. I would like to, but I don't want to take. I mean, it's not like I'm going to compete with him. But even if I take 100 viewers from him, I would feel a little bad. And so I probably. I don't know, because I also think it would be fun to... Maybe I'll do it with just my Patreon and not make it a live event. Maybe I'll do that because, I love James. We're good friends, and I don't want... that would be... It could be a little weird, but I may do it for Patreon. Hello to Mexico. What's up, Hans? Regarding a late video on the scales, do you really think it makes sense to go to Kaya or similar scales? I have Black Mirror and I'm not missing anything. No, you're not missing anything unless you want Bluetooth. That's the only thing you are objectively missing. Local shop in London that sells Onyx. Yeah, we have... Crud, I can't remember. I will be going up to Edinburgh soon in January. I'm going to Paris soon and Frankfurt soon for brew bars, so shops that are going to carry Onyx. But in London, I'm blanking. Let me just look. I'm trying to convince Hoffman to jump on bar with me at Proofrick. Sorry, I'm looking at sales in London, or I'm trying to. Ugh, Shopify sucks sometimes. Filter orders, London. Huh. I know we have. This is not working very well. 18 grams. There we go. 18 grams. I knew I'd friggin' find it. Come on now. Okay. Impressions on the Philo so far? Oh, that'll have to be a little secret. Difference between version 2 and version 3 lab sweets. The cuts. Hard to really say. Flatbread grinder, as I have only entry-level conical and feeling a bit of FOMO. What am I losing if I aim for smaller burst 54s instead of larger ones? I'm looking for a flatbread grinder. Honestly, you don't have FOMO, but if you're super into light roast, I can understand that. If you're doing 54s, I would definitely recommend getting the Ditting so that you aren't losing much at all. If you do 54 and you get the Ditting steel burrs that you can get from Baratza, that's honestly as close as you're going to get to 64 multi-purpose SSPs. You're not going to really it'll be very close. Linux laptop and I'm audio boosting to the max, so it sounds very normal to me. LOL. Not super crowded anymore. I just change outputs and listen to my phone. Okay, quiet me too. Maybe just with sound and post about the presentation of MP. You answered the phone. Someone's okay. No, discovered a grinder. First looks at burrs. Should go back to Proofric Coffee. That's supposed to be backed by. Yes, it is. Proofric is backed by James. Yes, I've been there just to. And honestly, I was not super impressed. I've been really impressed with their service. Their people are great. Pearls, we got some of those right buttons, so they keep switching modes and changing ounces and stuff. Oh, that stinks. One of the lunars just straight up won't turn on. Oh no, do you think it's water? Timer Black Mirror's hold over, but they're quite slow. Yes, they are. Good vibes from Argentina. I'll try to think. Budget is 100 Great British pounds. Oof. Well, the Buku is 100. It's probably right at 100 Great British pounds instead of using lunars, and I would make that switch immediately for espresso for sure. I don't think you'll have any problems with that, and the responsivity is really nice. For pour overs, that's more of the issue. Honestly, you can do something like the dye fluids one. Just make sure you consistently use it. I've found if you don't use it for whatever reason, it doesn't want to turn back on. But the dye fluids microbalance is a decent size and works well and is not that expensive. Could give that a try. Any advents this year? No, I am not. What's your reply to my AirPress question? Thanks so much for that satisfying. Well. What accessories would you buy for the Turin Legato? I mean, probably, for funsies, some sort of basket or 2 baskets. Maybe, pimp it out with a nice flat portafilter. Honestly, it comes out of the box pretty ready to go, so probably not that much. Chatting with you on the Patreon might be more fun than global. Yeah. Patreon. Okay, let's do that then. We'll definitely do that. Off topic again. I love your Michael Jackson reference, steaming milk. You should patent that. It's a good one. I was teaching that in a lot of classes, and I enjoyed doing it, so I kind of just kept it in my pedagogy. How much coffee is needed to season the Pietro burrs? Honestly, 5 kilos is more than enough, but just go ahead and use it, and it'll be good in no time. How are you? Thank you, Mohammed. I'm doing really well. People here have been really kind with questions and with their little super thanks and stuff. It's been awesome. Have you played around with the Kafek Deep 27 yet? Any thoughts on how it brews? Yeah, it's great for tiny doses. 8 to 12 gram doses, fantastic, because it gives you a nice deep bed. C40 daily driver. Should I get a ZP6 for filter and keep C40 for espresso, or go for Kinu and keep the C40 for filter? How about this? Sell the C40, get a ZP6 and a Kinu, and your life will be a lot better. No, if I had to choose between those two things, I would do ZP6 for filter and keep C40 for espresso, because the ZP6 is that much better than C40 for filter. Though the Kinu is incredible for filter as well and just built better. But yeah. I meant to ask, where can I get that Be Humble t-shirt? It's an old run. They're not for sale anymore. That's from like 8 years ago. I just get clothes and I don't ever get rid of them. Vinci wave glasses, they're cool. Like I said, I don't really see that much of a difference unless you're doing blind side-by-side tasting with glass geometry. Did you see the Mean Coffee nano scales? I've been using them for a while, and I'm quite happy that the Brewista Smart. Oh, that reminds me. The Wakeiko Exagram looks pretty nice. Their V2 looks pretty nice. The Nano, I've not held one. They look decent, though. Would you recommend to freeze Onyx EU to catch the prime? What water GH should you recommend also for filter? Yeah, so to freeze Onyx EU for prime, you could probably do it. Here's the thing. We're roasting just as light as Substance, but Substance roasts on a Loring, which means that it takes like 12 weeks. Lorings are notorious for long rests. The Typhoon, you can probably freeze this at like 3-4 weeks, and that's probably fine. You could also do it at 8 or 10 weeks. It doesn't matter. But there's like a long window where it stays really nice. But try it out for yourself. Be curious if you have the same thing. Where I'm actually been talking a lot with Dr. Mark Alchemarie about it, because he's noticed the same thing and is trying to figure out a model as to why this is happening on the Typhoon. GH for filter, about 60, 50, something like that. Coffee Messino versus Gajuino. Yeah, I need to get another Coffee Messino probably. I went with the coffee box this year to try out some new to me roasters. Excited for Sunday. I've done the Onyx past 2 years, but I'm switching up now. Hey, that's great. Do you miss US or you enjoy our European? You are very welcome here. Thank you so much, Michelle. I love Europe. I don't really. I'm a very much in the moment person, so it's hard for me to miss something because I'm in the moment. So yeah, I'm loving it here so much. Question anyone, can you recommend the best coffee shop in London? Definitely go to Proofrick. Definitely go to Colina. Colina is run by Maxwell Colina Dashwood. It's really close to Proofrick. There you have two right there. Bada bing, bada boom. There's lots of shops, though, and I think more people will be able to recommend down here. There's some really great shops up there, though. I know that my friend Paul Ross just opened a shop. I'm blanking on what it's called, but that should be a definite check. Let's see. I'm just blanking. My brain just went dead, so people are going to have to recommend down below. Sorry. Breville Barista Express. What hand grinder would you recommend? Because I don't like the built-in grinder. I love light roasts. The K6, if you want to be budget. King Grinder K6 on Amazon right now for $98. Light roasts, bada bing, bada boom, good to go. That's the cheapest you're going to get for the nicest for the cheapest. Access to 3 unique species of coffea beans from Madagascar. Ooh, cool. Produce the largest beans of any. How do I go about seeing if they are worth making into coffee? Get someone to sample roast them and brew them. Tumblr 078, Fellow Aiden, or X Bloom Studio. I already own the 078 and don't need to brew large amounts. The Fellow Aiden, then. I mean, I do love. I mean, obviously, I helped make the X Bloom and the X Bloom Studio. A lot of the changes were from my original sessions with them, where I gave them advice. They made a lot of the changes after I gave them the initial consulting. They made changes based off of it, and they said they went back and watched the Zoom. So, obviously it builds my ego when people like the X Bloom Studio. I really like it. I think it's great, and I'm very proud of the grinder in it. But if you already have an 078, granted, X Bloom's super nice to use. It's really fun, but the Aiden also seems great. I'm getting one now. I don't have it, but I know I love Nick, and I trust him to make something incredible. He's the one who designed it, by the way. Side off topic, what do you think about volunteering at the next World of Coffee to learn more about the industry for fun, not business? What do you think about volunteering at the next World of Coffee to learn more about the industry for fun, not business? Volunteering at the next World of Coffee. Oh, it's you're wanting to do it. Okay, yes. I was like, telling me, I've what? Yeah, so what do you think about volunteering? Yeah, no, that is a great way to do it. Absolutely. You can definitely go volunteer. Now, I would, I don't know how much you will learn about the business if you volunteer for competitions, but you can volunteer elsewhere. You could also try to see, just going to one, you'll learn a lot about the industry. But yeah, thank you, French Coffee Geek. I've been wondering for a while, what's the lever machine currently in the back? Oh, this is the Fama Marta from 1952. Paul Ross's brand is special guest. That's right. Have you had a chance to test Varia VS6? No, I have not. So it's one of the best 3 filter burrs he's tried with Pietro Pro Brewing, one of them. Oh, that's nice of Tom to say that. Very cool. Very cool. I did not know he said that. Very, very cool. Do you find the DE1 struggles to produce traditional full-bodied shots? If so, why? I think it's largely because of the large headspace. And yes, I have seen that, and they've made some fixes to try to fix it. But yeah, I have. I think it's largely the massive headspace. You typically want smaller headspace for it. Case is good for the price, but it's absolute torture grinding for espresso regularly. I agree, it is. That's why you can throw a friggin' drill on it, throw a hand drill on it. Also, for $250, you can buy the Ling Long Flat Burr hand grinder, 64 millimeters. You can throw a drill on that and have some fun. Does really nice. I need to try. I'll give it a try. If he says the top 3 is the Pro Brew, then he knows what he's talking about. I need to taste that. Let's see. The best coffee out of shelf in supermarket. I'm not sure. I haven't been to a supermarket in a minute to look at coffee, that is. What are you recommending these days for foaming milk if you have a manual? I mean, I still think that the old school just freaking nano foamer does the job just fine. You just need to make sure you have powerful batteries. Also, a French press does just fine. A French press, honestly, is fine. Just heat the milk up and French press that junk. I love my X Bloom. Is it worth getting a ZP6? Not if you have an X Bloom. Honestly, the grinder in there is you're not going to get much of a difference with the ZP6. Just grind on your X Bloom. Do you track tasting notes on an app? No, I do not. But Bean Conqueror is great. Thank you, Lance. What if I don't want budget hand grinder for a hand grinder to place Breville? $100 to $200 budget. Option for multi-purpose and option for just espresso. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I'm a big fan of Orphan Espresso's Apex. I think it's a great grinder. Or Lido, I'm sorry, not Apex. What am I thinking? The Lido. The Lido OG, I think, is a great grinder and is multi-purpose, and I think it does both really well. And it's built super well, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I definitely think that's great. But also, like, if you want multi-purpose, something like the X Ultra, the K Ultra, or even the J Ultra, depending on your roast preference from Easy Presso, is really great. Thoughts on Spiritello, having used it? I mean, it's a Case Van der Wesson. It's well built, looks pretty, does the job. Not necessarily something I would want in my home. It's a bit big and a bit. Last time I tried it, there were too many kind of flaws with it, but it was still a prototype. So I've not seen the ending. What is your approach to dialing water temperature for filter? Essentially, light roast. I pretty much always do 96 if I feel like I needed a little bit more, because I don't feel like maybe the drawdown wasn't super fast, or maybe, maybe if everything else looked normal, I might go up to like 98. But I always start with 96, even with super light, and then I lower it really rapidly depending on processing and roast level. So if it is super light but it's not washed, it immediately goes to 93. If it's not super light, I immediately go to 93 if it's washed. If it's not washed and it's not super light, I'm immediately at like 90 or 91. And if it's medium or darker, I'm down to like 85, 80. I'm very aggressive on water temperature because I've found it is the number one way to negate bitterness with darker roasted coffees, and I don't like bitterness. Bitterness is not an inherent evil, by the way. I want to make sure people understand me when I say that. I am not trying to push my taste preferences on anyone. You can absolutely love bitter, and I know that in lots of parts of the world, bitterness is sought after. So when I say that, that's me chasing my ideal cup, which is lacking bitterness. A lot of people want bitterness in it, and that's not a problem. But that is what I look for personally. Picked up a Flare Power Tower for my K Ultra. Yeah, I've got a Flare Power Tower. I'm going to do a video with both that and the scope. Excel sheet or Google Sheets can be good for tracking. True. Any advice on how to find a group of coffee enthusiasts in real life? Move to Toronto. Oh, easy. Just get online and look for it. You'll find somewhere on one of the, in fact, if there are other Toronto people in here, let Mauricio Mota know. Or if you watch this video in the future, let us know below, and Mauricio, come check comments. That'll be easy. But Toronto is a huge coffee scene. You'll definitely find home enthusiasts there. Just go to the Reddit thread and start a thread that says, like, meet up at Toronto coffee shop, or go meet up. You know what? Go see my friend Bruce Lee at Mineral. It's a restaurant. They have a Slayer. It's a very nice cafe, but it's a restaurant. Go see him at Mineral. Do a coffee meetup there and say coffee meetup in Toronto at Mineral, and put it on Reddit. Put it on Home Barista. Put it on wherever you hang out. And it's good to go. I've been in London, was trying to find the best coffee. Hi from Barcelona. I'm considering the Cafe Robot Pietro DF50 for your way to go. So, I mean, it depends on your preference. I think Pietro with Pro Brew Burrs, that is pretty much a filter-only coffee. So if you're using a Cafe Robot, you're not going to want to use the Pro Brew Burrs that I created. That being said, the multi-purpose burrs that they have are fantastic, and I don't make anything when it's multi-purpose burrs. So when I'm saying that, I'm being serious. Granted, I can also be prideful of it because they used my Burr methodology when they created it and made it incredible because, but you definitely want to get the stand with it. Right now, Espresso Coffee Shop has a huge sale on Pietros. They're like €250 right now, which is a big sale for Pietro. But I would recommend, if you're using the robot, to get the stand and the multi-purpose burrs, even though I made the Pro Brew burrs. But anyway, DF54 is also really nice. That being said, for the same price as a DF54, you can get the Specialita right now. All right, for about €265 or something on Espresso Coffee Shop, you can get the Specialita, which is insane. So if you like darker coffees, Specialita and Robot is goated. That is a freaking setup. Why do I get no notes on my pour over? I'm drinking coffee for 2 years. Probably not good water. That would be my number one hint. K-Max or ZP6 for AirPress pour over? ZP6, no question. But that's for lighter roasts, of course. If you like more blended coffees than the K. Opinion on A3mm, SSPHU, and MP. Thank you so much for your work. They're both great. They both do a really good job. I think they're both better overall than their 64mm counterparts. SSPHU is, of course, the 83 is for espresso mostly. It's more similar to the 64HU than the 98HU. and the MP does what MP does. Nice clarity and fidelity. ZP6 is amazing if you want bright, sweet brews. Yeah, I don't know about AirPress with ZP6 is great. Trust me, it is. Leverpresso or Flare Neo, you looked at the Pro model in your video, but the base model for both are around 120 CAD. Leverpresso, I need to look at that again. It's been a minute. Recipe for Deep 27. Honestly, I just do my bloom and then I pour the rest nice and slow. Easy peasy. 1 to 17 usually. Oh, thanks for the haircut comment. Like from Toronto. Yeah, Justin is from the Toronto area, I believe. Not sure if he goes to meets or not. He probably would, I bet. Oh, yeah, subtext. I bet they do regular cuppings. Oh, Le Brew has 078 burrs up. Shipping December 20th. Nice. While we're live, they were released. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Make a chart Google Doc for the way you approach temperature. Maybe, but it's pretty just intuitive, right? And it's based off of how I enjoy coffee, right? So it may not even be great for you. All right, I'm about to head off. We've been on here for a long time. Thank you so much for watching. I really want to geek out. Should I visit the roastery near me? I'm too introverted, but I want to geek out. Yes, get out of your comfort zone. Go. People in the industry love when people are humble and love coffee. So the fact that you're introverted is going to tell me automatically that you are humble because or at least you'll come off that way. You could be a cocky SOB, but if you're introverted, you're going to come off humble. And coffee pros love that. What they don't like are arrogant home baristas that come in and act like they know more than the barista. But yeah, go to your roastery, and if you're introverted and you're silent, like they're probably going to love you. That's actually how our first roaster at Onyx was hired. He was just an introverted dude that started coming in every day, and he eventually became our roaster and worked there for 8 years before he left to do roast consulting. So I recommend it. Espresso parts in the U.S. has 20% off with Pro Burrs. Comes at $380 plus tax. Oh, and then you can use my code. I don't even know my code. But with Espresso parts, if you want to use my code, Espresso parts, I have a code. I never push it, but I'll get like some sort of kickback whenever people order the Pro Brew Burrs. What is my code? I should know this. And you probably get an extra discount, I would imagine. I don't know. Where is my code? Let's see. I'm going to... Espresso parts code. I hope this isn't showing up on the thing. Okay, it's not good. Espresso parts code. Affiliate. I don't know my code. This is sad. Slow feeding fan, yes. Yes. I'm trying to find this stinking code. Maybe someone in the chat somehow knows it. I don't know. Code. Referral program. Your coupon code. It's just Lance Hedrick. All caps. Put a little winky face. Okay. Oh, it may not stack with it. Dadgummit, that would be annoying as heck. Well, maybe mine's 20% off. How much is my code? I don't know. It's probably just 10% off. Those freaking suckers. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to hop off now, though. Oh, hi, Pedro. Le Brew review in the pipeline. Definitely, I got to get them. But yeah, it's vintage Malcona grinders for the same price. Like a functioning EK3 for 80. I've wanted them. I'm dumbfounded how they're so cheap. Crap, send me a link. I tried to get one today, but it was gone already. Hatch is great. Slow feeding disc, yes. Might not stack with BF good crap. Any adventure? Okay. Casual coffee consider someone asked stalling with the RS and topic was mentioned. Yeah. Slow feeding. Yeah, can't be fine. Oh man, is your studio close to your apartment? Yeah, I'm in my driveway. Is an espresso machine with adjustable temp necessary for pouring light roast with low ratios? Nah. I think temp's been the only thing is like you don't want too high a temp. I think the focus on high temp is outdated. I think we need to focus more on like lower temps. But you do need, if you have really light roast and you're not preheating efficiently, you can have some sourness. But that would be the only fear with espresso is if you have too light a roast. All right, thank you so much for everyone coming. Thank you for everyone participating. Thank you for the incredible super thanks and all the different things. I hope that this was a fun video. Normally, this is only for Patreon, just so you all know. I just accidentally left this one public. But I was happy to do it because we had a lot of fun. Lots of people came, and I hope it was really nice. We had a nice, long conversation. So, anyway, thank you so very much. Yeah, I guess I'll stop streaming. Remember, Black Friday is today. Consumerism is inevitable. Be informed or buy crap. We don't want to buy crap. So, thank you very much, and I hope you have a lovely day. Brew something tasty.